Welcome to First Congregational United Church of Christ, and this is our faith formation session. Today, our story is going to be a conversation with Miss Jess and myself. I'm Miss Mona, and our story is going to be based on Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 through 25. I'm just going to give you a little piece of those verses. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, "Lord, how many times must I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times?" And Jesus answered, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 70 times 7.
You know, speaking of forgiveness, there was this time when I was in high school where my sister would sneak into my room while I was getting ready in the morning and pick a shirt from my closet and then go back to her room and put that shirt on so that when I came out of my room all ready for school, she would come out of hers wearing my clothes. And this happened over and over and over again. And every time I would say, "Sarah, I don't want you wearing my clothes. Those are my clothes." And I would get so mad and we would get into a whole fight and we'd call our mom and our mom would tell us to work it out between ourselves. And we would argue and argue and argue about how she liked my shirts and we could share because we were the same size. And I would stand there and say, "How many times do I have to tell you? These are my clothes. You can't just take my clothes, especially not without asking." And this would happen over and over and over again until eventually we worked out a system where she would come into my closet once a month and she'd look through my closet and she'd ask me if she could have this shirt or that shirt, and we would strike up a deal and barter and negotiate about which shirt she could have and which ones I would keep of my clothes. And it may seem like I did not forgive her, but it worked for us, and it became something that we do now, even today. When she comes to visit, she goes through my clothes and she picks out what she wants, and we negotiate and figure out what kind of deal we can make.
So Peter was one of Jesus's followers, and he was having trouble with his brother. And Peter said, "How many times do I have to tell him? And how many times do I have to forgive him? Is 7 times enough?" "No," Jesus said to Peter, "you need to forgive him 70 times 7. Jesus explained.
You may be wondering, why forgive that many times? Why do I have to keep forgiving somebody even if they're doing the same thing over and over and over again? You might think, I keep asking them not to do this and they do it over and over again. Or you might say, Sarah didn't stop taking the clothes, so why did I forgive her?
Well, Jesus wants us to forgive for a few reasons. The first reason is Jesus wants us to let go of our angry feelings. Angry feelings are not fun feelings to have. They make us feel bad. Our heart doesn't feel good when we're angry, and they make the people around us feel bad too. Letting go of them helps us to move on and helps us to feel better. It can be hard to let go of angry feelings. I know it can. They like to stay inside of our bodies. But by calming down and saying, "I'm sorry," and learning to forgive someone, we can let go of being angry and go back to having fun.
Jesus also wants us to make friends again. If we stay angry, that's like building a wall, a really high wall all around ourselves. If we build that wall, no one can get past it and come be our friend. By saying we're sorry when we did something wrong or learning to forgive others when they do something wrong, that lets us stay friends with people and even make new ones.
And Jesus also wants us to be forgiven. We've all done something wrong or something that hurt someone else. And we've needed to be forgiven for those things. If we don't learn to forgive then it's really harder for others to forgive us too. God has forgiven us for our mistakes, and Jesus loves us even when we mess up. So we should learn to forgive ourselves and others when we make mistakes.
You know, forgiveness can be kind of tricky. Let's take a second to practice. Let's pretend that you are on Zoom for school and you have yourself on mute and you're doing everything right, doing your work, and the teacher calls on you, so you unmute and you start talking, and while you're talking, somebody else unmutes and starts talking over you. How could you forgive them? Take a second, pause the video, and answer this question. What if your brother or sister borrows one of your toys and then loses it? How could you forgive them? Take a second, pause the video, and answer that question. Think of a time when someone did something that hurt you. Did you forgive them? How did you forgive them? Take a second, pause the video, and answer those questions.
So we do know that forgiveness can be hard to do. This week, see if you can practice forgiving the people around you who do things that annoy you or hurt you.
Thank you for joining us this week for our Faith Formation session. We look forward to seeing you and being with you next week.